Lords, ladies and gentlemen, the awards will begin in 2 minutes. Please take your seats. The awards will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. The awards will begin in 1 minute. Please take your seats. Lords, ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal.
"30 years ago, I saw the start of the Whitley Awards. Those people working with dedication and courage at the sharp end of conservation caught my imagination. I gave what help I could. Now the Whitley Awards have emerged as a preeminent award for any conservationist to win. The Whitley Award winners combine knowing how to respond to crises, yet also bring communities and wider audiences with them. Together, they have protected vast swathes of the world's natural habitat. I wish that I could say that we don't need this kind of protection anymore, but I know that this is not the case. We need the work of the Whitley Award winners to succeed, and we need to help them to whatever extent is possible. The Whitley Awards are back.
Please welcome your hosts for the evening, Kate Humble and Tom Heap.
Well, good evening and welcome everyone to the 2024 Whitley Awards. Many of you were saying in the reception before the event tonight that we really do need some good news. Well, sit down, sit back, be assured that this is a night of good news, and we are absolutely delighted to be here.
Indeed we are. Hello everyone, it's very, very good to be back. Many things are the same as previous years, fantastically uplifting and inspiring winners. I was saying to someone just now, that feels a little bit like a cliche, but it's no doubt it's true. It is a feel-good evening, and there's nothing to be ashamed about that. I say nothing has changed, but actually one thing has changed. I usually wear a waistcoat for these events, but now I've got my school uniform on. Unlike Kate, I don't think they trust my sartorial choices, so I think they got me to wear some special stuff. Any road, it is fantastic to be here. So, to start proceedings, let's hear from the founder of the Whitley Fund for Nature, none other, of course, than Edward Whitley.
Thank you very much, Kate and Tom. Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, everyone joining us by live stream tonight, which includes tonight virtually all our previous award winners. We are so thrilled to have you. You're so welcome. Well, last year we celebrated 30 years of our conservation work. As you know, we like reasons to celebrate, and this evening there's quite a few more. As part of our 30th anniversary, we've commissioned an impact assessment report, and here are 3 headline numbers and 3 more great reasons to celebrate. The first is £23 million. That's how much you've raised over the years in this room and that we've channeled to our winners to fund their work. The second is 1.4 million square miles. Now that's the scale of the landscapes and seascapes that our work is seeking to improve and conserve. The third number is 200, and that's the number of government policies to improve environmental protection that our winners have successfully co-written or influenced. So as well as reviewing the past, we also used last year to prepare for the future. As a first step, we hosted a 2-day biodiversity conference, a summit, and we brought together 12 Gold Award winners, and they talked candidly about the challenges they face and the grounds of hope for the future. We opened the summit up to all comers and attracted a wide audience and a great deal of press coverage. Now, my favourite moment was waking up to Radio 4's Today programme and hearing the sound of 8,000 penguins. Now, this is the penguin colony in Patagonia, which Poppy has protected and built up from just a dozen nesting birds. With their raucous squawking, deafening, incomprehensible noise, well, yes, it sounded just like Radio 4's other news programme, you've guessed it, Today in Parliament. Now, over the summit, our ambassadors and our trustees provided crucial support to us, and building on this success, we're going to run it again in October, so please look out for that date and join us. Collectively, our winners have a powerful voice. They've emerged as the people of authority in their countries. As ever, it's not an easy role. They've got to be that person who can explain to a wide audience what's going on and what needs to change. This is not always scientific. It can be opportunistic. Now, for instance, when a Hollywood star visits, we want our award winners to be that person who accompanies them and puts conservation on the national news agenda. Now, only Kate in the dress rehearsal identified who this was, but any guesses? Okay. Yes, Leonardo. So now, as well as wearing mosquito-proof shirts, our winners might need a quick change of clothing to address a completely different audience. So whatever it takes, we want our winners to change the narrative, to influence the future, and to have a seat in that room. Our winner achievements are always a reason to celebrate. Earlier this year, Rodrigo in Mexico, he curated a bat festival in Mexico City. This was visited by 2 million people. It'll have definitely changed their view of bats. We just as yet don't know in which direction. And Fernando in Colombia, well, he changed out of his wetsuit and he was the driving force behind an international declaration to protect river dolphins. Paula teamed up with James Cameron, the filmmaker, and she made a film about elephants which was nominated for an Emmy. So these are really amazing achievements. We're so proud of the work of all our winners. To all of you joining via live stream, we've loved the emails flying around this week, which have built to a crescendo as you've welcomed all our new winners this year. Please keep that good news coming in. It gives us all hope. So in terms of celebration, there's one more thing. This year we're celebrating 25 years of Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, being our magnificent patron. Now, I've got a few more things to say about Her Royal Highness. I was going to say, but cut me off if I'm going on for too long here. Given the immense pressures on her diary, it's a profound tribute to the Princess Royal that in the 25 years while she's been our patron, she's never missed a single award ceremony. Her Royal Highness is active through the years and across many countries. So I mentioned the need for mosquito-proof shirts and the ability to address any audience. So whether it's in the forests of Brazil, whether it's in the staterooms of St. James's Palace, the generous, informed and dynamic commitment to the Princess Royal inspires us all and brings us all together. And over 25 years, right from when first presenting our awards, you've made a special connection with all our winners and indeed all our donors. So ma'am, on behalf of us all here, and on behalf of each of the winners to whom you've presented their awards and who are watching us this evening, and they're reliving that moment with you, which they generally describe as one of those few life-changing moments, thank you very much indeed, ma'am. And finally, on behalf of the WFN team, led by Danny and Victoria, who always produce such incredible results, thank you everyone in this room. Thank you for your steadfast and far-reaching generosity. Thank you to our previous winners tuning in online, and thank you for your extraordinary work. Kate and Tom, back to you. Thank you very much indeed.
Well, given that there are being so many thank yous bandied about at the moment, I think we should remember to thank you, Edward, for having this wonderful idea. And to you and to Araminta and to your whole family for coming up with the Whitley Awards. So, thank you. And to all of you out in our live stream and here, if you would like to join the conversation online, including those of you who've tuned in from around the world via our live stream, please follow us on social media. It's at Whitley Awards and use the hashtag #SharedFuture. Now, as all of you know, there has never been a better time to take action to protect our planet for all our sakes. And the winners you will meet tonight are helping to do exactly that.
Well, Kate and I are very proud to represent the WFN as ambassadors and have been involved with the charity for many years because, quite simply, we believe in what they do. Whitley Fund for Nature backs grassroots conservation leaders working alongside local communities to deliver effective solutions for wildlife and people. And that second point is crucial. This year's winners have already had a busy week. They've been given media and communications training, met with donors, NGO colleagues, their country ambassadors, as well as been interviewed by journalists. Now, the next few years are, of course, crucial for us all, and the decisions made will steer the course for biodiversity, climate change, and our whole future.
Our fellow WFN ambassador, Sir David Attenborough, some of you may know him, has said that we know what to do and that conservation is effectively now a communications challenge. And of course, he's right. And the communication starts here with our new cohort of magnificent award winners and their films, which this year have generously been made by Alistair Fothergill and his team at Silverback. And so on that note, we are delighted to introduce tonight's 6 new, inspiring, magnificent Whitley Award winners, who will each receive £50,000 in project funding to support protection of endangered wildlife and threatened habitats.
So here we are, on to the meat of the event, and our first 2024 Whitley Award winner is Leroy Ignasio, an Indigenous leader working with his community to protect Guyana's red siskin.
The Rupununi is a special place because of its natural beauty. It has dry woodland landscapes, rainforests and the savannas, wetlands. I love it. All right, so that one over there, that bird over there, that's the male.
The 2024 Whitley Award winner Leroy Ignasio works in the Rupununi region of Guyana, a vast area with a unique combination of habitats that make it extremely diverse. But like much of the region, it's faced the increased threats of modernization, climate change, and habitat loss.
Habitat destruction mainly occurs through uncontrolled fires.
But just over 2 decades ago, a charismatic species was recorded for the first time and helped change all that.
So when discovery happened, this was like great news for the world, great news for us.
Known to the local communities but previously unknown to science in Guyana, the endangered red siskin, a songbird known for its beauty, which makes it highly sought after in the illegal caged bird trade.
When I hear this bird, it just hits my heart.
Leroy could see that by protecting the red siskin, he also had an opportunity to help preserve the Rupununi.
Spinus cuculata.
Working with local communities, Leroy and others formed the South Rupununi Conservation Society. They've created a community-managed conservation zone, educated local people, and trained rangers to monitor and manage the red siskins.
99.
Community-led approach, community-led activities, community decision made on what they want. People were proud of what they're doing. It really made them feel that they're doing something for the world from their small backyards.
This grassroots approach has been extremely effective. Because of the team's work, incidents of illegal trapping have been almost completely eliminated in Guyana. The siskin population has now stabilised, giving hope for the survival of the species.
The support for red siskin conservation work has to continue every year. It cannot stop.
With the Whitley Award, Leroy now wants to increase the size of the conservation zone to 150,000 hectares. He will train more local people as rangers and promote traditional burning practices that won't ravage the siskin's habitat.
This is the bird that has created all of this movement in conservation in the Rupununi.
By protecting one tiny bird, the community is helping to safeguard this precious ecosystem.
Good evening, everybody. Winning a Whitley Award is a tremendous honor to me. As an Indigenous conservationist, I proudly represent the South Rupununi Conservation Society and all Indigenous people. At the age of 12, I went on a 5-year scholarship to a secondary school in the capital city. When I returned home, I noticed heartbreaking changes. Guyana's economic development focused on natural resource exploitation, resulting in a new road into my region. This increased pressure on the people and the environment. People engage in wildlife trade. We had to go farther for fishing and hunting. My friends and family left the village for gold mines and jobs in the city. I felt compelled to do something about this. And this was the start of my conservation journey. The red siskin became that something. My first interaction with the red siskin was its beautiful song. Seeing the vibrant and endangered red siskin, I immediately felt a connection. For me, it symbolizes hope for the Rupununis and its people and the environment. Indigenous people and their knowledge have historically been overlooked in conservation. Our work has helped to change this narrative. Good news. Today, the red siskin population is bouncing back. Winning the Whitley Award will boost our efforts to conserve not just the red siskin, but the ecosystem upon which all life depends, with community-led conservation at heart. Thank you.
Thank you, Leroy. And to anyone who is here this evening who perhaps hasn't been to one of these award ceremonies before, that is the epitome of what WFN stands for. Amazing work. Thank you, Leroy. I told you, I promised you an uplifting evening, and here's another great story, because our next award goes to Nami Longa from Papua New Guinea, who is empowering women to take on leadership roles in coral reef conservation.
My love for the ocean started when I was still a kid. Most of the days I used to spend my time in the sea, swimming, looking at the corals, the fish.
Nami Longa, the co-director of the Sea Women of Melanesia, is on a mission to protect the marine reefs of Kimbe Bay in Papua New Guinea.
The coral reefs of Kimbe Bay are very special because they belong to my family and my people.
The ocean sustains the livelihoods of many indigenous communities in Papua New Guinea. It's ingrained in their culture. Despite their importance, these reefs, which are among the most species diverse in the world, are under threat. Pollution, detrimental fishing practices, and the effects of climate change are jeopardizing the health and resilience of these marine ecosystems that the local people rely on. But the Sea Women of Melanesia are providing tangible solutions. They are empowering local and indigenous women to become custodians of locally managed marine areas within Kimbe Bay. By sharing new knowledge and skills within their own communities, they are improving the overall health of the marine environment.
It is important to work with the local communities and women because they possess deep connections and traditional knowledge of the marine ecosystem.
This female-led organisation has now expanded into 3 regional offices supporting 85 Sea Women members. The data they collect is informing local policy in marine conservation, which is globally important. And the communities they work with are taking action. By creating no-take zones and through fishing sustainably, marine life is able to flourish. Sea Women of Melanesia have high hopes for the future, and Nami's Whitley Award will enhance this.
The Whitley Award will help the project to create more marine reserves around the area and to empower more women to look after the reefs in their own community.
As the pressures on these ecosystems accelerate, Nami's vision for the future is to extend her marine conservation model around Papua New Guinea and the Eastern Coral Triangle.
We have the power to make a change. We all need to work together to protect our planet and our oceans.
Good evening. Tonight, I stand before you as a guardian of my homeland, Kimbe Bay. This is a marine paradise facing unprecedented threats. I have always been fascinated by the ocean and coral reefs, which has come to me through my ancestors for thousands of generations. Under the water, it was a very different world. I was amazed by the colors and the beautiful ballet of the darting fish. This is about women power. Despite pushback from men in high positions, we fought and succeeded in creating this project run by not only women, but indigenous women. It is a beacon of hope and aims to protect sustainable fisheries, enhance biodiversity, and build resilience against climate change. I extend my deepest gratitude to the entire Whitley Fund for Nature team and their partners for their commitment to preserving our planet's biodiversity. Together, we are on a journey to safeguard not just a bay, but a way of life for my people. Thank you very much, everyone, and enjoy your evening.
Thank you, Nami. Absolutely jaw-dropping work. Stunning. Next, let's hear from Kuenzang Dorgi about his work to foster coexistence between people and the golden langurs in the Kingdom of Bhutan. I don't think I've ever uttered such an exotic sentence.
Bhutan, a carbon-negative country living in harmony with its nature.
We have a strong Buddhist principle which firmly believes that every organism has a fundamental right to exist.
But what do you do when wildlife and humans are struggling to coexist? Primatologist Kuenzang Dorgi is studying one species at the center of this dispute.
These monkeys are very special. They're very beautiful, golden. It's a gold.
G's golden langur. Pushed into close contact with people due to human development, langurs now take advantage of agricultural crops, costing farmers up to 70% of their yields.
Put in the shoe of the local people, I can really feel how frustrating the life is in the middle of forest.
But the langurs themselves are under threat.
It's endangered. The number is decreasing. They constantly come into contact with the anthropogenic threats.
Living alongside humans makes the monkeys victims of power line electrocutions and roadkill. This human-wildlife stalemate led Kuenzang to develop an ingenious solution.
The mechanism is very simple. It's a tiger with inbuilt the predator voice.
The decoys successfully reduced the amount of crop damage by the langurs. But when dealing with monkeys, you always have to stay one step ahead.
Some monkeys are very smart. Around 3 to 4 months, they knew that it's not a real tiger. And they're we have to include.
With his Whitley Award, Kuenzang and his team at the Royal Society for the Protection of Nature will keep innovating their repellents. Identifying conflict hotspots will mean solutions can be directed to the most effective villages, while additional repellents and warnings at road crossing sites and power lines will reduce the number of langur fatalities. These measures will be expanded to all 6 districts where the langurs are found in Bhutan. With women and children no longer needed in the fields to guard their crops, they will be able to attend school, leading to better education and finding more reliable sources of income. And through training, education and internships, Kuenzang will prepare the next generation of Bhutanese primatologists to continue the project's impact.
Firmly believe that the Whitley Award will touch the heart of rural people.
Kuzuzambola. I'm from Bhutan, which is known for being one of the happiest countries in the world. So I must pretend that I'm always happy even when I'm not. But today, I'm very happy. I grew up in the family of 9 siblings. My father chose me to go to school and become dasho, meaning a high-level officer. I walked to school through forests, marshy wetland, listening to the songs of Himalayan cuckoo and calls of muntjak deer. In Bhutanese culture, encountering the golden langur indicates prosperity and a success. I first encountered these golden monkeys at the age of 16, where I was fascinated by its color and expressive eyes. Combined with its standing cultural significance, it solidified my passions for protection of this iconic species. My furthest dreams of becoming Dasho shattered when my parents could not afford my schooling after grade 10. But it was my fate to study forestry and become forest ranger. Now I can contribute more and then help golden langurs. They are under threat from climate change as it drives them into agricultural areas. In such an era, I believe that empowering local communities to embrace the practical interventions and then take collective responsibility for conservation is imperative for us to coexist alongside wildlife. Thank you, Whitley Fund for Nature, for supporting me to rescue these vulnerable populations and help improve the life of local communities. I firmly believe in saying, find peace within yourself first, and then foster harmony with others. Thank you, and touch the land.
Thank you so much, Kuenzang, for really showing that an innovative and holistic approach to conservation can be so very effective. Thank you. Now let's hear from Aristide Kamla, whose team are working to improve freshwater management for the African manatee in Cameroon.
Across the world, there are 3 species of manatee. The Amazonian and West Indian manatees have been well filmed. But in the waters of West Africa lives a shy and secretive 3rd species.
We couldn't even see them by direct observation. We have to rely only on acoustic recorder to detect their vocalization.
Conservationist Aristide Kamla has made it his life goal to conserve the African manatee. Near his home in Cameroon lies Lake Ossa, a vibrant wetland habitat supporting thousands of families and hundreds of jobs. It's also a vital refuge for the African manatee. But in recent decades, this once pristine water body has been impacted by changes to the surrounding environment. Deforestation around the lake causes erosion. The runoff from the soil contaminates the water, adding to pollutants from industrial practices upstream. This increases the nutrient levels in Lake Ossa, allowing giant salvinia, an invasive plant, to completely take over.
By forming this thick carpet on top of the water surface that prevents manatee from surfacing to breathe. And manatee, they are mammals. You need to surface every 5 minutes.
Aristide and his team at the African Marine Mammal Conservation Organization began manually removing the salvinia. But they soon realized that to tackle this giant problem, they might need a little help.
We found out that there is another method called the biological control by the means of a weaver that feeds specifically on the salvinia.
This ravenous little weevil made a huge difference.
When we started, salvinia coverage was 50% of the lake surface. Today it's brought down to less than 10%, and we are now seeing more manatee. What we've done so far is addressing the symptom. But at the root cause of this, there is water pollution.
With support from the Whitley Fund for Nature, Aristide will pioneer the use of modern technology to reduce deforestation.
We're going to use that funding to install a smart monitoring system that will detect chainsaw noises and send an alarm to the conservation service.
By tackling the deforestation and pollution, the water quality will improve. Aristide's team will also set to work with local fishers to develop sustainable fish farming practices. Aristide's vision is to expand the work to the whole water catchment and turn Lake Ossa into an ecotourism hotspot.
Now we see more and more manatee, and that gives us hope.
As a child, I aspired to become a medical doctor. However, I stand before you today because I did not pass the entrance examination. My path to conservation, I believe, was guided by divine intervention. On a pivotal day, after failing another exam, I was on my way to university when I felt an overwhelming compulsion to switch my focus to ecology. This marked the beginning of a remarkable journey. Lake Ossa means a lot to me. This is where I started my career as a manatee researcher 16 years ago. Let me tell you, it's not easy to observe this shy animal in the wild. After searching unsuccessfully for manatee for 3 good months in Lake Ossa, I partnered with a local fisherman who took me in his wooden canoe and guided me through the lake where I finally observed my first manatee. The moment was just magic. It's like time had frozen. The most significant challenges these manatees have faced, aside from poaching, is habitat degradation. Imagine the despair of losing one's home and witnessing the familiar becoming unrecognizable. This was the fate of the African manatee in Lake Ossa, as the lake succumbed to the proliferation of an invasive aquatic weed. This ecological disaster was not something that we were prepared for. Nevertheless, we have successfully tackled it by teaming up with the local community. Now, we need to address the underlying cause of nutrient enrichment in the lake to restore it to its former glory as a wildlife heaven. Thank you to my team, to the local community we've been working with, my family, mentors, and the Whitley Fund for Nature for the support and the recognition. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Aristide. And this problem about over-nutrification in lakes is not something unique to Cameroon. In fact, I think you could teach us here in the UK a thing or two. Our largest lake in Britain, in the UK, in Northern Ireland, is suffering from just such a problem. So maybe you could get out and teach them something. Now, let's hear from Raju Acharya, known locally as Owl Sir, for his commitment to protecting central Nepal's owl species. Back in the Himalayas.
Nepal is famous for its breathtaking landscapes, from the tallest snow-peaked mountains to its lush green forests. But as the sun goes down, a whole other world is revealed, along with a group of birds that has captured the heart of one man.
Owl looks like a human, They have a forward-facing eye. They can rotate their head 270 degrees in one direction. Their perfect calculation to attack the prey are an amazing feature of this species.
Nepalese conservationist Raju Acharya has dedicated his life to protecting the wildlife of his homeland. But owls are his passion.
This bird has a special role to maintain the ecological balance, and they are also related with the society and culture. Each and every ethnic group have a different perception about owl. In Hindu culture, it is symbolized as a god.
But with more than 125 distinct ethnic groups in Nepal, not everyone sees owls in a positive light.
We go to the lowland. Some people believe it's a bad omen.
This has led to widespread persecution of owls, firmly instilled through generations, with owls often targeted with lethal catapults. Owl meat and body parts are also highly sought after in alternative medicine.
Nepal is a hotspot for owl trafficking, which involves China and India too.
This has resulted in almost half of Nepal's owl species being categorized as threatened. It was clear to Raju he needed to shift perceptions. So he launched the largest conservation event in Nepal, the Owl Festival.
It is a fusion of culture, conservation and entertainment. It features a conservation camp for the school student and public. We organize a traditional game and different cultural activity. There is a noticeable shift in public discourse toward the conservation of owl, which shows that the activity are successful.
This community-driven success reached the ears of government officials. The result? A 10-year National Owl Conservation Action Plan. This, combined with his Whitley Award, will allow Raju to develop training resources for law enforcement, ban the use of catapults, and protect and restore owl habitats with the help of local owl envoys.
We anticipated that our effort will not only benefit the local owl population, but may also have a broader international impact as well.
Raju's approach to conservation gives even the smallest communities how a whole nation protects its biodiversity.
Namaskar from Nepal. Do you know, in my society, owls are seen as a lazy and dull creature. When you advocate for their conservation, you are labeled the same way. When I was chosen to represent the World Owl Trust in Nepal, I received ironic congratulations from those around me. Despite the discouragement, I was determined to learn more about owls. While traveling, I was disheartened to see youth cooking owl on open barbecue. We also found owl in illegal captivity, kept in a very stressful condition. This pushed me to start conservation effort with my colleague, Mr. Yadav Kimire. Though some joke about having $1 million for such effort, unfortunately, I did not. Despite these challenges, I am thankful that Government of Nepal has prepared and endorsed a 10-year owl conservation action plan in 2020. The Whitley Fund for Nature will help to implement this overdue plan. Winning the Whitley Award is particularly meaningful for me, as this year was my 4th attempt. I got there in the end. This award will not benefit only owls, but also change the way we approach wildlife conservation in Nepal. Every creature, no matter how common, deserves our care and protection. It's our responsibility and their right too. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Raju, for your persistence and for your wisdom. And last but certainly not least, we have Fernanda Abra, who has partnered with indigenous people to build over-road canopy bridges to connect and protect primates in the Amazon.
Northern Brazil's Amazon rainforest. A haven for biodiversity and home to over 2 million species, is now fragmented by a series of highways. Rainforest inhabitants are left with two choices: remain isolated in their fragment, or attempt to cross the highway, risking their life. Animals like this golden-handed tamarin hold great significance to the region's indigenous population, the Waimiri Atrawari, Each road fatality represents a significant loss. But conservationist Fernanda Abra has a solution, the Reconnector project. Working with the Waimiri Atuari, she's combining their indigenous knowledge with her research. Together, they're working to reconnect the rainforest by installing canopy bridges.
The Waimiri Atuari people, they are the heart of the project. They know everything about the local wildlife, and this was fundamental for us to establish the Reconnecta project there.
The team have constructed over 30 bridges, enabling tree-dwelling species to cross over highways for the first time. Camera traps have revealed the outcome of this collaboration. In just 30 days, the Reconnector team recorded the first golden-handed tamarin using this canopy connector. In the past year, the team have recorded more than 500 crossings from 8 different species, but the challenge is only growing. Brazil has the 4th largest road network in the world, and it's expanding. With Whitley Award support, Fernanda's Reconnector project will continue to maintain the bridges and monitor their success. The team estimate the roadkill of tree-dwelling species will reduce by a quarter around the bridges. Fernanda will also expand the Reconnector project to encompass further states, working with the local community to install 5 further bridges.
The Whitley Award is an important boost we need to implement the culture of sustainable infrastructure in the Amazon. For the Waimiri Atuari people, this award honors their history and all the work they have been doing to protect the Amazon. And I believe Brazil can be a role model for sustainable infrastructure in the world. Thank you, WFN, for this. I can't believe Sir David knows that I exist. The Reconnecta project completely took me out of my comfort zone. It was my first time working in the Amazon. It was my first time working with an indigenous community. For people that have never been there, the Amazon is a nature paradise, but it has insane logistics. It's complex and challenging and warm and wet, and I have never learned so much. Combining cutting-edge scientific knowledge with the Waimiri Atuari traditional knowledge was a perfect exchange. The Waimiri Atuari taught me about ecology, geography, and the history of the Amazon, especially the part of the opening of highways that came at a high cost, including thousands of lives of indigenous people. So I learned that conservation in the Amazon must be delivered by social justice. Through their life stories, I learned an important lesson about resilience, the importance of working together, and the power of a united community. I learned to be brave and persistent conservationists as they are. I'm passionate about wildlife, but a sad part of my job is registering the chronic death of some of the magnificent species on Earth. But the part that really touches my heart is the one looking for solutions. The challenge is to reconcile an agenda between road expansion and biodiversity conservation. I want to expand the Reconnecta project, and I want to install 100 more canopy bridges. Can you imagine how many animals we can save? Thank you, Whitley Fund for Nature, for supporting me and this project. I dedicate this award to the Waimiria Troari and all indigenous people that are in the front lines protecting the Brazilian Amazon rainforest. For them, my admiration and my respect. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fernanda. An extraordinary project. Simple, brilliant, effective, but no doubt requiring extraordinary both technical skill and sensitivity to deliver. Truly stunning. Well, congratulations, I say, to Fernanda and to all our 2024 Whitley Award winners. Kate, I think they've raised the bar. It just goes on and on, doesn't it? It's extraordinary.
Is anyone out there feeling miserable now? It's now time to hand out their extremely well-deserved trophies. So please welcome to the stage to present the 2024 awards, Patron of the Whitley Fund for Nature for 25 years, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal.
Our first award presented this evening is the Whitley Award donated by Inigo, and the winner is Leroy Ignasio.
The next is the Whitley Award donated by the William Brake Foundation, and the winner is Nami Longa.
The following award is the Whitley Award donated by Anne Rees, and the winner is Kuenzang Dorgi.
The fourth award is the Whitley Award donated by the Corcoran Foundation, and the winner is Aristide Kamla.
Our next award is the Whitley Award donated by the Frank Brake Charitable Trust, and the winner is Raju Acharya.
Our sixth 2024 award is the Whitley Award donated by the Hempel Foundation, and the winner is the magnificent Fernanda Abra.
And that is not all, but before we move on, I've never had shoe envy like I have for Kuenzang's boots. I mean, stunning. I even saw the Princess Royal checking them out as you were getting off the stage there. I think she's after a pair. Right, as I say, that is not all. We are delighted that one of our winners from during lockdown in 2021 is with us this evening, which means we are finally able to present the awards to them in person. Pedro Fruy, please come up to the stage to collect your trophy for the 2021 Whitley Award for your work to save Lahil's bottlenose dolphins from their coastal habitat in Brazil. And just to give credit where credit's due, Pedro's award was sponsored by the William Brake Foundation.
Thank you, Your Highness. So well done to all our winners. Receiving a Whitley Award is just the start of their journey. Winners can go on to apply for WFN continuation funding grants to support further expansion of their work in the years to come, and you have seen how effective their work is. Winners tell us that the ability to apply for this continuation funding provides vital support for long-term conservation efforts. Last year, a record £1.4 million was awarded in continuation funding grants to 16 past winners working across 220,000 square kilometres of land and sea. Through these larger, long-term grants, winners can and have achieved amazing results. And so we would particularly like to thank all the donors who chose to give to this particular programme.
Many of the projects we support via continuation funding offer nature-based solutions to address climate change alongside restoring biodiversity. On that note, the emissions from this week's events have been offset through a Whitley Award-winning tree planting scheme in Brazil's Atlantic forest, which will be sequestering carbon, conserving wildlife, and yielding social benefits for local people.
This year's winners will join a network of 220 conservationists in 80 global south countries around the world, with whom they can share knowledge, experiences, and encouragement. And some of these alumni are here tonight, so please show them your appreciation and give them a round of applause. We are in the presence of people who actually are saving the world. Through its Winner Network programme, WFN is facilitating peer-to-peer trainings, connections and collaborative projects between winners so that conservation solutions can be brought to scale. The need to channel further funding and support to our network increases each year as new winners come on board. So if you would like to join us and become a supporter, please consider donating tonight. And thank you to everyone, to all of you who have given so far. I hope you see how well your money is spent.
And now to tonight's top prize, the Whitley Gold Award. The Gold Award represents the pinnacle of the WFN journey, with the recipient being a past Whitley Award winner who has also gone on to receive continuation funding. This award, worth £100,000 and donated by the Friends of WFN, the Gold Award goes to a member of the Winner Network who is an international advocate for conservation. Gold Award winners lead large-scale projects, join the WFN judging panel, and act as mentors to new winners. Let's see who's receiving this year's prize.
Why should an animal go extinct just because of the way it looks?
Their feathers, their intense blue eyes, their sounds of the beak, and this is like tuck, 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 tuck. They were my childhood friends. I love everything about them. They are very inspiring. But everyone else seemed to hate them.
For decades, the greater adjutant stork, locally known as Hargila, was persecuted by humans.
Hargila was always treated as a bad omen, disease carrier, always misunderstood.
They had become one of the rarest birds on Earth.
Humans were destroying their wetland habitats and cutting down their nesting trees.
Home to just 450 storks in the early 2000s, the state of Assam in India was one of their final strongholds.
If I didn't do something, we were going to lose these birds forever. So I made it my mission to save them.
2017 Whitley Award winner Purnima Devi Barman has dedicated her life to rebranding these outlandish birds by forming the Hargila Army. Her all-women movement had one goal in mind: to weave this important bird back into local culture. The women campaigned from village to village to raise awareness of the importance of the birds.
They feed on decaying animal carcasses and they play a very important role in the nutrient cycling.
Thanks to this cunning PR plan, the stork is now championed across Assam. And the community has been transformed too.
The lives of women have changed from being homemakers to conservationists. Now they are leading communities and empowering others. It is like a sisterhood.
And the movement is growing.
In Hargila Army, we have more than 10,000 women and they all are united for a cause.
Since Purnima started in 2007, the population of greater adjutants has quadrupled to more than 1,800. But the bird is still threatened. So Purnima now plans to double the size of her army, to collaborate with other Whitley Award winners, and scale up her project into the nearby state of Bihar and also Cambodia.
The Whitley Gold Award will help us to expand our work to other areas in India and in Southeast Asia. We have a dream to increase the population to 5,000 by 2030.
And this is far bigger than saving one ungainly scavenger. By protecting the stork, the Hargila Army are also conserving important wetland habitat, essential for many other species, and the community.
When I started my work, I was alone. But now you can see the power of the communities. It's like an umbrella. It is about the trees. It is about the wetlands. We are saving the habitats. I'm really very optimistic and hopeful for Hargila.
Your Royal Highness, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, good evening and namaskar from Assam, India. It is a great honor to be here. Today, I invite you all to dream with me. Let us close our eyes and dream together, for dreams are the seeds of tomorrow's reality. Now, I ask you to spread your wings like the majestic Hargila birds. When Hargila expands its wings, they are more than 8 feet wide, a symbol of strength, resilience, and love. Ladies and gentlemen, may your dreams soar high, like the wings of the Hargila birds. Now, use your hands like the Hargila birds. Be the beaks. Make the beaks. Yeah, and say with me. Are you ready? Tuck, tuck, tuck. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Tuck, tuck, tuck. Now say fast with me. Tuck, 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 tuck. Come on, say fast with me. Tuck, 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 tuck. Did you connect with the Hargila birds and feel the optimism? Yeah? When I was a kid, my parents were away and my grandma took care of me. She connected me with nature and showed me the Hargila birds in the paddy fields. I think she sowed the first seeds of the Hargila army in me. In 2007, when I was studying for my PhD, I had a life-changing encounter with a tree cutter. A man was cutting down a huge nesting tree, which was hosting 9 nests. And all the baby Hargila fell down, 9 baby Hargila fell down. I was shocked and deeply pained. When I confronted him, he and his neighbors joined and started mocking me. Someone commented that Hargila is a bad omen, a disease carrier. It doesn't need to live. At this moment, as a new mother of my twin daughters, my motherly instinct ignited me to work for this bird. I realized that my PhD research alone couldn't save the birds. I needed to change the mindset of people and to bring the birds into the tradition and culture. We started with a small community of women, and now I'm very proud that we have more than 10,000 women in Hargila Army. Thank you. We don't miss any opportunity to create awareness. We celebrate baby showers for Hargila like the way we do for the Assamese expectant mothers. You can join us sometimes. We weave Hargila into Assamese textiles. In this way, our passion becomes fashion. Do you want to see our textiles? I would like to show it. I believe that conservation and livelihood go hand in hand. Our journey is not only about saving the species, it is a journey of empowering women. I feel so positive today when I see each one of you who had joined us here, and I feel so optimistic when I see our new Whitley Award winners. They are the real heroes. With Biodiversity COP16 approaching in October, my dream is that all the delegates attending this historic event will realize and recognize that the fate of a species entirely depends upon communities, and protecting 30% of the planet by 2030 will only be possible if we harness people power. Yes, people power. I extend my deep gratitude to the Whitley Fund for Nature and all our supporters for believing in our work and making our dream a reality. So thank you so much, everyone. And from my state of Assam, Joya Yokhom, Jai Hind. Thank you so much.
Thank you, and congratulations to you, Purnima, and your wonderful, awesome, and no doubt incredibly powerful Hargila army. Absolutely extraordinary. I would now like to welcome the patron of the WFN, Her Royal Highness, the Princess Royal, to give you your award. And I'd now like to invite the Princess Royal to say a few words.
It's got a dangerous invitation, that, and a few words is not, needless to say, quite what you've got here. But I'll start by repeating something that you all want to do, which is to offer congratulations to new inspiring Whitley Award winners. That's why we're here. We come to support them and celebrate them. These individuals and all the people who work with them. And they're working on the most biodiverse, yet very vulnerable places. And they've all demonstrated a quite extraordinary level of commitment to protecting wildlife and habitats, but particularly through those community-led solutions that need recognition and support, and also give us such reason for hope. We've heard something very obvious from them. They are knowledgeable and articulate, and it is their tenacity and persistence, and thank you for setting that example, that if you don't get an award the first time, come back and try again. Because if it's good and you've been supported, it'll be worth it. But that strengthens the work of the Whitley Fund every year, and it what makes these awards, I hope, one of the most inspirational of environmental events in the year. And now we look forward, as we can in a way that we couldn't do before, of following this year's cohort and watching their achievements. That is one of the advantages of some of the technology that is now available. And we also know that each Whitley Award winner brings their own story. And their own story is about positive change, and that nature making a difference in people's lives, but the importance of people, to value that and to value taking care of the environment around them, but learning from those who've lived in that environment for such a long time. And every story is key to our planet's future in some way. Everyone has a different key skill which will add to that sum of knowledge. And we need to learn about all of those. They're effective, they're locally led solutions, and they make an enormous impact. Scaling them up and building a world in which nature and rather too many people probably can coexist in harmony. Although I have learned something over the passage of time, that there is no good idea which can't be defeated by scale. So when we say scale up, be very careful how and where you do it and how far it reaches. But the key is the knowledge of those areas that you live and work in. Now these have grown, and what I really love about the awards and the winners is how much they give to each other. So the alumni meeting together, supporting each other, encouraging others. They maximize their collective knowledge, and it makes the impact so much greater. Last year, we celebrated the 30th anniversary, which was extremely good. But we can look forward to another, at least 30 years, I rather hope, but we do that together. There are more collaborations and more partnerships that make it more likely that this charity will gain even more success, and that it can create a future where the communities and wildlife thrive. But it is the Whitley Award winners who remain our greatest inspiration, and we thank them for it. But I would like to take the opportunity to also say how important the generous donations to our winners that come from you. And I'm sure that that will continue to make a real difference for the next generation. And we're delighted to have many new guests tonight. And equally, an awful lot of our very long-term and most generous supporters who've probably been doing this longer than I have. But thank you, Edward, for your very generous words. It's been an absolute pleasure to be involved. The common denominator, Edward and me, is Gerald Durrell, and his inspiration through his books and through Jersey's what is now called the Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust really set us off on this journey. Somebody who took the trouble to understand about people and where they lived and how they related to their environment. So that's been an enormous journey of its own, and as patron for 25 years marks passage of time. But it gives me the opportunity to say a very big thank you to all of those who made the commitment to the Whitley Fund for Nature, certainly over that 25 years that I know of, but the whole of that 30 years, which has allowed us to do so much celebrating now and to be able to continue to do that in the future. None of what we've seen tonight, the inspirations that we've had tonight, would be possible without that level of commitment from so many of you. It really is one of the most efficient and effective charities working to protect the environment. Actually, we can prove that. This is not always easy for some charities, but we can prove that because our winners make it possible to judge just how much difference they've made. And as you've noticed, over the 30 years, we've been able to put £23 million into those particular programs. The need for the continuation funding continues to grow, and that's a real impetus to our work. It's important, too, for our winners here to be able to celebrate what they've already achieved, but to be able to build on it. Your continuation funding is key. And we are aiming to raise about £3 million a year by 2025. And I hope this evening helps you to help us reach that target, because these are the stories, these are the people that you are supporting. And you have been fantastic donors, because many of you have been long-term supporters and recognise that the Whitley Fund is not about short-term answers, it is about the long-term, the difference that is going to make and the length of time it takes to get there. So thank you so much for being part of that journey and recognising the value of the fund's contribution, but above all, recognising the sheer excellence of the award winners and their ambitions and their abilities to reach those goals. The Whitley Award winners are the people on the ground who are bringing about the change, despite, for all of them, very challenging circumstances. I hope you will agree that we must do everything we can to help them. And I would like to thank everyone for your committed and generous support for the charity over many years, and particularly to our winners. And I'm going to finish. I wrote this before I heard the beginning of the speech, so it comes unconnected. But I did write, "Thank you for making it a good news day." And I mean it, because that's one of the pleasures of coming here today. It is about good news, and we can all go away with a smile on our face and a great deal of hope in our hearts. Thank you all very much indeed.
Thank you so much, Your Royal Highness, and congratulations again to the 2024 winners, and thank you to all our donors who make these awards possible. All of us do, of course, have the future in mind, and as part of that, we're seeking to expand WFN's Next Gen programme. Like the game-changing continuation fund that the Princess Royal just talked about so eloquently, the Next Gen programme will raise awareness and engage new advocates for the incredible work of WFN. And crucially, it will support the next generation of amazing conservationists.
And the whole point underlying that is to share the work of the charity amongst as wide an audience as possible, which is what's behind something that Edward mentioned earlier, which is the fact that we'll be hosting another Biodiversity Summit, the WFN's second Biodiversity Summit, at the Royal Institution this October, bringing together conservationists, public, business, NGOs, journalists and youth. This is really a chance to sort of drill down into some of the science, some of the tricky arguments, some of the debates, some of the real nitty-gritty behind these extraordinary poster boy and girl images you've seen today, the hard work and the difficult choices that go on behind them. I thoroughly recommend it. Watch this space. And I just have to say, overall in this area, in recent months and years, from our own political establishment, we've seen a little bit of backsliding on enthusiasm for getting behind nature and climate change. This is across the political spectrum. And I think we can show that this stuff matters, it works, and it's not anti-people.
We hope that you have enjoyed the evening and that you go away as the Princess Royal has commanded, with a smile on your faces and hope in your hearts. After the royal party depart, please join us upstairs for our reception. But for now, from me, Tom, and the Whitley Fund for Nature, thank you all very much indeed. Goodbye.